Better comments than that.
Helen is one.
Remember, these people are occupied, and it's their land. It's not German, it's not Poland.
So where should they go? What should they do?
They go home.
Where's the home?
Poland.
So the Jews,
Germany.
You think Jews go back to Poland and Germany?
And America and everywhere else.
Because we're so heavily biased in favor of Israel, and the whole world knows it, and they're astounded by it. They can't comprehend why America, with its great cherished traditions, would close its eyes to the dreadful punishment that we have enabled Israel to inflict on virtually defenseless people.
Feminist movement has accused the Israeli government of adopting a racist policy towards the country's Ethiopian Jews. Activists believe black women are deliberately being given a controversial contraceptive to bring about a drop in the population, a claim the government denies. Thousands of Ethiopians have immigrated to Israel since the 1980s, but their Jewish heritage has been questioned while their social status continues to suffer.
For nearly 4 years, Racheli Mangoli has been running a youth center in one of Israel's poorer communities. 45 Ethiopian families live here, but throughout that entire time, only one Ethiopian baby was born in this neighborhood, and that alarmed Racheli.
Because I smell something not good. I know about the discrimination here. When I'm going with the children, I feel this. Even when I'm going to buy something in the super, one woman said to me, I don't understand how can you are standing near people like this. When they give me money, I'm going and washing my hands.
After some investigation, Racheli discovered many of the Ethiopian women, keen not to get pregnant while setting up life in a new country, had been placed on the controversial contraceptive Depo-Provera, a drug few Israeli women have heard of, let alone use. This woman was first put on it 4 years ago and underwent repeated injections every 3 months. She says it's left her with such terrible pains in her hands and back she can no longer work. She insists she was never told about its side effects or offered an alternative. Like many Ethiopians in Israel, she's afraid she'll be deported if she questions the authorities. Dr. Factor is reluctant to give the contraceptive to his patients. He says it's known to delay fertility for months after women come off it, and in some cases can cause infertility. In 2004, the American Food and Drug Administration warned against the dangers of the drug, but the World Health Organization refused to restrict its use. Hedva Eyal has tried unsuccessfully to draw attention to the fact Ethiopian Israelis are given the drug without being warned of the risks. She claims it's her government's policy and is nothing short of racism.
They don't want poor or black children, and Depo-Provera gives them the opportunity to have the control, because she taking her injection once in 3 months and she cannot have children. You know, it's 100% secure from children.
Hedva says the policy is working. The number of black babies in Israel is decreasing, but there are no official statistics to back up her claim. Although for community workers and Ethiopian women here, they don't need statistics. They feel their reality speaks for itself. We've come to the clinic where the women get their injections, but no one will talk to us. The health ministry admits it gives the drug, but says it was never its policy to give it only to Ethiopian women and reduce the number of black babies in the country.
They are believed to be one of the lost tribes of Israel, but now Ethiopian Jews are facing major difficulties in returning to their biblical homeland. Thousands of families have been left stranded between the countries by tough Israeli laws aimed at preventing non-Jews from immigrating. Paula Sleer met some of them.
When they were in Ethiopia, their neighbors called them falasha, or strangers. But here in Israel, many of these black Jews still feel they're the stranger. It's not that the Jewish state didn't do its share to integrate them. It's just that some argue it's not done enough. Desasha's mother gave her name because in Amharic it means to look after. But ironically, Desash can't take care of her mother because the authorities refuse to let her come to Israel.
Every week I'd go to the Ministry of Interior and fill in all the forms. And each time they told me to come back in 1 month, 2 months. It's taken ages. Finally, they told me that there was a new law that anyone who had on the mother's side a great-great-grandmother who was not a Jew doesn't have the right to Israeli citizenship. So this means my mother has no right to come here.
Dasasha's story is one of thousands. About 120,000 Ethiopian Jews live today in Israel. Many came in 2 dramatic airlifts. In 1984, thousands were secretly flown from refugee camps on the Sudanese border. Later, in 1991, amid threats of Ethiopia descending into civil war, the seats were removed from 34 commercial planes, and the world record set for the most passengers on a single plane. The Israeli government says it flew out every Ethiopian Jew, but thousands were left behind. Right now, 8,700 Ethiopians are waiting in the northern Ethiopian city of Gondar to emigrate to Israel. They gave up everything they owned to move to the transit camp. But many Israeli officials believe that most of them are Christians claiming Jewish links as a way to escape poverty for the relative comfort of the Jewish state. Because despite the hardships Ethiopians face in Israel,
all my family is together.
Ethiopian Jews are believed to be one of the lost tribes of Israel. But now that they've been found, it's unclear how many more are still missing. Paul Islia, RT, Israel.
History that is not a history based in slavery, but a history based in royalty.
Human civilization started in Africa.
Some of the first architectural systems, some of the first engineering systems, some of the first governmental systems.
After visiting Egypt, white scholar Count Constantine Duvalny wrote, "Just think, the race of black men today, our slave and object of our scorn, is the very race to which we owe our arts, sciences, and even the use of speech."
In order to justify the economic drive of the slave trade, there had to be the denigration of black people. And so people began to see these sculptures of people with clear Afroid features. It was just incontrovertible. The facts, the reality that black people had designed this civilization.
Ignore. Just refuse to publish any facts of African history that don't go along with our racial theories.
When black contribution to civilization is too obvious, let's find a way to attribute it to outside white influence.
That the black man once dominated most of the civilized world, only to suffer a tragic downfall of epic proportion. Let the journey begin.
Because by them putting this up, people believe you are a Jew. Yes, now you're getting it?
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to us.
How does it make sense?
Because of this image, you can come to us looking like this image and say that the Jews are Caucasian.
No, I don't. I never said that. Jewish people are not a race.
Listen, Jewish people.
There are people. The Ethiopian Jews, they're Malian
Jews,
no. They're Indian Jews.
See, that's the ignorance of your education. Because let me prove something to you. Judah was the 4th son of Jacob. Jacob was the son of Isaac. Isaac was the son of Abraham. Also, let's make it clear. Judah was a man. And so his bloodline, what came out of his loins, are Jews.
Okay.
So unless you can prove that you are the prophecies of the book of Judah, you are not a Jew. In fact, you know what you are? Hold up. In fact, you know what you are? What? You are Jewish. You wish you were a Jew. Wish you were a Jew. Now let me show you something. Get Revelations 2 and 9. Let me show you. Ready?
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
He says he knows the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews. Now our people are not saying they're Jews, so you know it's not talking about us. It's your Jewish people. He said he knows the